Joe, do you feel that the side has progressed?
Yeah, definitely. Joe touched on it the other day. It was 4 months ago when we first started that Wales thing. Time goes by pretty quick, especially when you're in the Rugby Championship week in, week out. But it was quite nice to get a break. Go back, see your friends, family, and reconnect. And then everyone was pretty excited for a new group coming back in. So yeah, there's a good feel about it, and especially with a tour coming up like this, has been something like 16 years since playing all these sides, and it's a good experience, and it's something to look forward to as a player.
Yeah, I was going to ask about that. It's not a lot of players get to experience this kind of thing. How excited are you, and what are your goals for the tour?
I'm pretty excited. I really enjoyed it. I went once 2 years ago, and it was my first time to Europe or any of those countries. So everywhere I went, I was loving it. A big smile on my face. Trying to be a tourist as much as I can as a rugby player, and I think that's such a special part about rugby. You do get to see the world. So again, really looking forward to this trip. Had some great memories over there, and you play in some big stadiums as a kid. You've you kind of look up to and hear of, and when you get to run out or play an opportunity over there, it's quite surreal. So I really enjoyed that. And again, for this tour, I guess it's a little bit similar. We take one game at a time, and you go over there and really soak it in, soak up the atmosphere. That's the thing that we don't kind of get in as Southern Hemisphere teams. You don't kind of get that experience. So that's probably the best thing I'm looking forward to, is getting a chance to play over there.
Just following on that, you can visualise that all you want, but how much do you think it is just something that you just have to experience and almost learn on the fly how to deal with those type of atmospheres you'll expect at Twickenham or Allianz, whatever you want to call these days?
I'd only speaking from my opportunity last time, I'd only just kind of started playing, and I loved it. They're singing for the other team, the national anthems for the other team, but you look around and I had a big smile on my face. I was loving it, just looking at these massive stadiums, like I said, famous ones that you've heard of as a kid, and they're full sellouts, so the crowd's singing. It's a good experience, and I don't know, I really enjoyed it, and I think that for most people as well, when you're enjoying yourself, you tend to play your best rugby too. On and off the field, you have good connections off, and that's what I tried to do. And we train pretty hard, and then after that, you're a tourist. You go check out the city, go have a look around, and that's what, as I said, rugby can do.
Maro Itoje, is he kind of still the benchmark for locks around the world? I know that obviously you've come against some good ones, Springboks and All Blacks, and then just secondly, I think Itoje is quite well known for being a bit of a pest at line-out time and yelling and screaming, trying to disrupt calls. Any thought being put into that?
Yeah, a little bit. But yeah, he's obviously a world-class player. I think I haven't played over in England yet at Twickenham, but I think I've played him once over here. And yeah, as I said, he's a pest and he's a world-class player. But there'll be a bit going into that. It's good, obviously, individually. You try and look at your personal battles across from the lineups, and you try and do your best foot forward and outplay those guys, and then outplay the people in your position, and obviously the rest of the forward pack. So it's a good challenge, and it's always a good benchmark to test yourself.
I think you actually lost your starting spot for a bit at the start of the season under Joe and fought your way back in. Was there any background to that? I know you talked a lot about physicality earlier in the season being a work on. Can you just talk to that a little?
Yeah. I had some good feedback around my working height as being a taller player. But just my contact area is down low. Still a lot of work on clean out, breakdown. Obviously, the game now is played at a lower level with the HIAs, the head contact thing, so that's something to be aware of. So being able to get down low and be stronger in lower positions was kind of around my feedback at the start of the year. But he still loves all the other stuff, and I still try and work on that as a strength. But as a type 5 member in any rugby, and especially at a test rugby, you got to do your core roles well, and anything after that is a bonus.
I guess doing a bit of research and figuring out how to play these kind of players that you'll face next year.
Not really, to be honest. Everything's been the Rugby Championship, which we were in. We had a good chance to reconnect, a few weeks off, get the body right, bit of a pre-season. Now it's all into this spring tour, and as I say, it's one game at a time. All our focus has been on England, so we're really looking forward to that. And then obviously we got the games after. Probably individually, you might pick up a few different things in the game. Go, bloody hell, this guy's a good player. They play well in different things, or I've got to realise I'm up to that standard or I'm not. That's probably something you work out individually when you play. But It's as I said about the Tojo. It's good to set a benchmark and challenge yourself against the best and see where you're at. And you don't know unless you get out there and obviously challenge yourself and have a dig. So I wouldn't say individually looking further forward than that. It's 1 week at a time. You've got to put your best foot forward, and then obviously you got to get the chance to wear the jersey again, and you go again.
Will Skelton's a massive aim for you guys. What have you learned from Will, I guess particularly last year in camp?
Will was great around the group, evidently. He was a captain last year of the World Cup. I know he's a great man. He always puts the team first. And he's a good guy as well. He's a big human. Everyone knows that, and he has his impacts well. Whether he comes off the bench, he's great at doing that. Whether he starts, and he obviously last year he had a couple of great games before he got injured at the World Cup. So no, he's a great asset to have for any team. As a set piece point of view, he's a point of difference. He's definitely. It's good, and it challenges as well. For anyone who comes in your position, you obviously want to try and put your best foot forward and keep going. And if everyone's fighting and competing, healthy competition for a spot, it's going to make everyone better, which is good, and which is what we need, to be honest, in Australian rugby.
Harry, first Wallabies camp. Has it been what you expected so far in the early days?
Yeah, I think so. It's been 3 days of training, and it's been tough, and the intensity's certainly been a step up, and getting ready for a spring tour, probably as expected.
Yeah, earlier in the year when you were battling injury, did you expect to find yourself in this situation?
Well, I think there's probably a glimmer of hope, but I think the nature of the short Super Rugby season and the timing of my injury, it was a long shot. So certainly fortunate to have got here this week.
Joe said he was impressed with you sort of during that South Africa series. Was there conversation while you're injured, when you're sort of coming back to the force, around being on the radar and until you sort of got caught into that squad in this camp at Brisbane?
Primarily just that I needed to get back on the field. Not a lot of talk with Joe, but just if you want to be playing for the Wallabies, it's you don't just sort of get thrown into a test match setting without playing some rugby. So I'd had 16 weeks off there, and I think first things first, it was to play some rugby, which fortunately we had a bit in South Africa.
You were born in England, of course, so eligible for them as well. Was there any conversations when you were over there about being in the mix?
Not that I'm aware, to be honest. I was playing for Leicester and plugging away over there, but there was no call-ins to any England camps or anything like that, and that was the reason I came over to Australia, because I wanted to play for the Wallabies.
Tell us about the decision to go over there in the first place. Was it just an attractive financial opportunity at the time, or more to it than that?
Yeah, definitely more to it than that. COVID sort of came along in Australia, and it was pretty tough with Super Rugby, and then we had sort of Super Rugby AU, and there was a few question marks around that, and the Super Rugby teams, we didn't have a great deal of certainty, so there was an opportunity to go over to Leicester with a coach that I had previously worked with, and then I hadn't played a game of Super Rugby before I went over there, and fortunately went over to a club that was on the up at the time, and it was as it turned out, a good career move to play professional rugby, which I hadn't done before going over there.
What were the biggest things you learned from Leicester in your time there?
I think firstly it was just great to play a lot more rugby. Luckily, in the club season over there is long, and you can play a lot of rugby, which probably learnt a lot from. And then I think the style of rugby was very different. It's been great coming over to play Super Rugby, and it's a more expansive and exciting style of rugby, certainly with a lot more emphasis on attack. But at the same time, the rugby over there was heavily kick focused, heavily defence focused, and I loved that, to be honest. Games were tight, every facet of the game was highly contested, and it was arguably more like Test match rugby at times.
Do you feel having that experience over there gives you an advantage heading into this tour and a potential debut?
I think playing more rugby is probably going to help you, but I think learning how Joe wants to play the game and that style of play is probably going to be the biggest work on to get myself into the team.
Have you allowed your mind to sort of wonder about what it'd be like debuting against Steve Borthwick's England? Potentially come up against a host of sort of Leicester teammates as well.
It'd be awesome. I'd love to play that game. perhaps a bit of a long shot being in the squad for 4 days now, but like first game of the tour, it's going to be massive. I'm sure Twickenham's going to sell out if it hasn't already, and coming up against England at Twickenham's got to be up there with number one test matches to play on the calendar.
Is anyone in this camp who sort of look to sort of just pick their area about what to expect at test level, those that will work on, whether it be players or particular coaches?
Yeah, I think coaches are going to have a lot to offer. I think we've got some now pretty experienced outside backs in the Wallabies as well. So yeah, those guys certainly got a lot of expertise that I can lean on, and hopefully they can give me a hand.
Has Joe spoken to you about when and where you might be used, whether it's the first game or into the tour or anything like that?
No, nothing like that. It's been a bit nose to the grindstone and train hard for the time being. So put my best foot forward on the training field for now.
Just on that eligibility question again, what was it that really made you want to play for the Wallabies? Obviously, eligible for both nations. Why Australia? Was it because you spent more time here, or why?
Yeah, I mean, probably. Yeah, it's difficult to say someone that's grown up in one place their whole time, what country you feel more allegiance to. But I was here for school. I watched the Wallabies play when I was from year 7 right up until going to uni and up until now. Certainly feel like I was here for a more influential part of my life, and I'm speaking with more of an Aussie accent than I am an English accent, which doesn't make you feel too English, to be honest, mate. So no, it's pleasure to be with the Wallabies, and certainly I feel very Australian.
You've got a preferred position, centre or wing, and have you been training sort of equally both?
Yeah, again, we've just sort of been jumping in a few different positions, which has been good, but I've been training a bit on the wing. But yeah, the games I have played at 13, love playing there, and if there's an opportunity to play there or have a crack there, then either or, I'm loving.
Potentially that's the long term, you reckon, best for your skill set for your team, mate?
Yeah, maybe. Loving, probably played the most on the wing, so I feel really happy there, and probably going to be giving that as much of a crack as possible for the next few weeks.
Being in this squad probably going to lift your profile a little bit with fans around the world. Are you ready for even more Harry Potter references to be thrown your way? Yeah,
it's a good challenge for journalists to see if they can think of a unique or original Harry Potter pun. They're few and far between, but good luck to you.
Do you ever get sick of it?
No, I don't really, to be honest. Like, it's been 26 years of it, so it's pretty funny, I reckon. Tip my hat if you think of something original.
Your winger Harry gets used a lot. What's the sort of best? Is there one unique one where you go, actually that was pretty clever? Yeah,
I think your winger Harry was actually not bad. You bang on. There's a bit of plagiarism going along there. People thinking that's their own chat though. I don't know who started that.
Yeah, Nick, journalists aren't as clever as rugby players. Has anyone in the team come up with a creative nickname for him?
Not really, to be honest.
Slips asked me what I like to be called, and I told him a few things, and he then decided Wizard was probably the best idea. So we'll see if that sticks. Hopefully not.
Slips has just been going with that, has he? Just simple Wizard.
Yeah, no. Well, I think we'll. Yeah.
He uses his own nicknames for people sometimes, so
okay,
that's what he does.
I might be in the clear.
Yeah, should be fine with Wizard.
Just on Twickenham, you've obviously would have played there a fair few times. What's that experience like? What's so special about it?
I've not played in a test match. I've watched test matches there, and I think that'll be a different kettle of fish. But awesome place, proper rugby stadium, massive, great field. I'd be up there of places to play, I imagine.
And just quickly carry on, Joseph Swiley, another potential debutant on this tour. What's it like having him in camp in these early days, and what's the standard do you think he's going to set in terms of the other outside backs?
Yeah, he's been great coming in, so keen to learn, and a great addition to the squad. He's been awesome. Did a bit of contact today, and he's certainly hard to put down, so he's certainly going to add a lot, and excited to watch him get his hands on the ball when the time comes.